Okay, today we're going to harvest yeast from a conical fermenter. We are going to start by sanitizing a 90 degree. We just put it in boiled water after it's clean. Okay, next we're going to sterilize the opening to the bottom of the fermenter with a little alcohol and flame. And then we'll follow that up with spray sanitizer. Now we can connect the 90 degree that we sanitized on to the bottom of the fermenter. So we're going to try to pull the first yeast off the bottom, which is going to be chunky. At first it wouldn't come out because it's kind of a yeast plug, so we're pressurizing the tank. So I'm going to open it up gingerly so I don't get sprayed with yeast. You can see it's not coming out, but it's going to start pretty soon. Now if you look, you start to see some chunks coming out. It doesn't look very consistent. What we're looking for is a real custardy. So let's see. So it's starting to come out, but it's still really chunky. So I'm just barely going to open it. You can still see little black chunks in there, like that. These black chunks. I want it a little bit more uniform, more custard. And I'm still getting some trube in there. And a little bit more. You'll see it, it'll turn into a real creamy. You want to eat it, but I don't recommend it. Now it's starting to get a little nicer, less black chunks. That's looking, see, that's nice and creamy there. There we go, about right there. Okay, so now we're going to take off the 90 degree. We're going to re-sterilize it with flame, and we're going to hook up our yeast brink to it. Now we're going to hook up the yeast brink to it. We've got it in a sanitized bucket. And the hose and the yeast brink has been sanitized. Okay, with the yeast brink, I'm pumping CO2 into it to create a CO2 blanket. Like that. And then I'll take that off. And then I'll just let that settle a minute so the gas can settle to the bottom. Okay, now that we've let the CO2 settle, I'm going to go ahead and release that gas. And that way air will be able to escape while we're filling the yeast brink. We've got it on a scale, we've zeroed it out. We're going to add about 25 pounds. If this was water, this would hold 40 pounds. We want headspace so the yeast can expand. So now we're just going to start to open this up. We're going to let the yeast come in. And we're just going to watch our scale. And once it starts to register, it goes pretty fast. going to keep this up until we hit 25 pounds. Okay, once we've filled our yeast brink, I'm going to go ahead and close this off for now. And now we're going to remove the tube, and we're just going to grab a little sample of yeast. This is what we use to do a yeast cell count. You can take this at the very beginning or at the very end. You still have tons of really good yeast. This is very representative of what we've got in our yeast brink. We'll do a yeast cell count off of this. We don't need that much, you know, but that ought to do. Okay, now we've got, you can actually even see where the line is, kind of right there, how much yeast we put in here. So I'm going to go ahead and reattach this, this here, and this is going to become a blow-off tube. And then I'm going to put this in the walk-in cooler, and this will just go in a bucket of water so that the yeast is allowed to expand and it keeps it nice and good. This will be good until the next beer. Okay, this is the final product. Done my yeast cell count. I mark on the container 2.4 billion cells at 96% viability and the date. And then there's the blow-off tube, and this is ready to go for my next beer. That's it.